back, everyone, to another episode of Clear the Air from S&P USA Ventilation Systems. I'm your host, Tanya Meyer, S&P USA Training and Development Architect. On this episode, we're discussing ventilation solutions and, of course, S&P USA's commercial products. For those who have yet to know, we offer such a wide variety of ventilation products, you may have asked how to narrow down exactly which products are needed for a specific project. Lucky for us, our S&P team has created solutions to make it easier than ever to find the right product for your application. We call these solutions product application guides. S&P USA currently offers 4 commercial product application guides, which are restaurants, warehouses, food retail, and mixed use. And we're excited to announce 2 new additions to our product application guide series. Here to help me clear the air and discuss these applications is S&P USA's Commercial Product Manager, Josh Lynch.
Hey, Tanya, I'm glad to be back for another episode.
We can't discuss commercial products without you, Josh.
Of course.
Josh, since you were one of the team members who created these product application guides, I'm curious what factors you take into consideration when deciding which products need to be included.
That's a really good question. One of the biggest factors we take into consideration is building code. Safety is always the number one concern when you're ventilating a building, so it's very important to adhere to code for your specific location. With that being said, there are also some national codes that we made sure to cover in the product application guides. For example, in our restaurant guide, we make sure our products follow standard NFPA 96 from the National Fire Protection Agency. Any building code in the US would adhere to the safety requirements that are listed in this standard.
Oh, wow. Okay. Since you mentioned our restaurant application guide, why don't we start there? Can you walk us through some of the products that are laid out in that guide?
Definitely. The way these guides are laid out, they break down like a large application, in this case, restaurants, into smaller applications like bathrooms, kitchens, and storage rooms.
Okay, that makes it much easier to decide which products you need.
Yes, for sure. Some of the most important products in restaurants, of course, are in the kitchen. In our product application guide, we outline that you'll need a STXB or STXD centrifugal exhaust fan to exhaust the hot, humid air created by dishwashers, and a STXB RHUL centrifugal exhaust fan or CMRHUL utility vent set to remove the grease-laden air that's created while cooking.
Oh, now I heard RHUL at the end of those product names. To dig a little deeper, let's talk about what that signifies.
Yeah, that's a good catch. That means that the fan is UL 762 certified. So this standard is for fans designed for removal of smoke and grease-laden vapors with airstream temperatures of at least 300 Fahrenheit.
Wow, that's hot. Well, safety is always the most important thing, right?
Yep.
So are there any other products or considerations we should know about when it comes to restaurants?
Yeah, definitely. So some other fans that we recommend for restaurants outside of the kitchen exhaust fans that are typical are SQD square inline duct fans as AC boosters and LPD direct drive centrifugal exhaust fans to remove VOCs and contaminated air from like storage rooms. You'll also notice that in most of our product application guides, we recommend outside air solutions. This is something we focused on the last few years. And also these solutions can be used in pretty much any application to create a balanced and fresh air system.
Yes, we definitely want that fresh air in all buildings. Now, let's move on to one of our most popular applications, warehouses and distribution centers. Let's talk about the product in that guide.
Oh, sure. Yes. So warehouses and distribution centers are a big focus market for us because we fit the market really well. And of course, our number one thing is always keeping the building safe and healthy for employees. And in order to do this, we highlight products that will remove contaminated air and replace it with fresh air. And for example, we recommend our HREB, which is a hooded propeller exhaust fan, or our UBS or UBSP, which are belt drive blast exhaust fans that are for general exhaust. And also on the supply side, we'd recommend an HRSB, which is just a hooded supply fan. Other fans we would recommend are like jet fan series for ventilating aisles. And specifically, we might recommend a TJFU for our axial jet fan because it can remove air through aisles of products.
Ah, okay. Those jet fans really are accommodated in many applications, right?
Yep.
Well, to me, one of the most interesting product applications is, of course, food retail, because I mean, who doesn't love food? I do, especially.
Yeah, for sure.
You know that.
I do too.
And in case our listeners have been living under a rock or have not heard that name before, can you enlighten us what food retail really is?
Sure. So everybody typically thinks of a grocery store and food retail,
Yep, that's
but
what I was thinking.
so sometimes like people might not include, it's supposed to be included is convenience stores, delis, and many more applications. And food retail ventilation is interesting because it incorporates aspects of restaurants and traditional retail ventilation.
Yeah, ventilation is so key and necessary to keep our food fresh, and we know we don't want to spoil our food. I
Yeah,
can
definitely.
see why we focused on this market, especially us, especially. Can
Yeah.
you tell us about some of the products you would use in food retail?
Yeah, of course. Like I mentioned, food retail uses some aspects of restaurants. So if your building has any type of kitchen where food is being prepared, like
Yeah.
rotisserie chickens, you'll need like a kitchen supply fan and which is our KSFV, or STXB RHUL, which is like our centrifugal exhaust fan that we mentioned earlier. And to remove, you need those to remove and replace the contaminated air put off by whatever you're cooking with.
Yeah.
STXB RHUL can also be used to remove humid air created by dishwashers. In the back part of the building, also, we might use some of our centrifugal and axial jet fans, like the IFFT and the TJFU, to move dangerous gases out of loading docks. And one other thing you might consider in these applications are TRCE energy recovery ventilators, because they help create a balanced environment.
Wow, you never think of all of that, work that goes into the places you do your grocery shopping.
For sure. And a lot of that goes into keeping people healthy and safe.
Oh man. All right, Josh, we have one more product application guide to
Mhm.
discuss before we reveal our new applications. Can you tell us what that is?
Yes, definitely. Our fourth product application guide is our mixed use buildings guide, which have been a large focus of S&P for a few years, but we specifically pointed it out in an application guide last year. The mixed use buildings require very unique ventilation solutions because they mix residential with commercial applications.
All right. Would an example of a mixed use building be apartments with shops and restaurants on the ground floor?
Yep, that's definitely it. Like any place where people might live in an apartment or something upstairs and be able to walk down or go down an elevator and go to a restaurant or go shopping or something like that, all
Lucky
within,
people.
yeah, like all within like one space where you don't have to drive somewhere. That's basically like a mixed use complex.
Since these applications combine residential and commercial, I assume they use both residential and commercial products?
Yeah, that's correct. In mixed use buildings, we use residential products like outside air solutions, our
Okay.
PV dead PEV, which we highlighted at the AHR show this year,
Yep.
and our premium choice bathroom fans to keep the residential units healthy. But it's also important to properly ventilate the commercial spaces so they don't interfere with those residential spaces by giving off fumes or whatever that would go into the
Bad
residential
stuff.
space. Some examples of this would include like our jet fan series to ventilate parking garages, especially underground parking garages, but they're also good for above ground ones. And STXB RHL units and STXD centrifugal fans would go in the restaurant spaces, and also like our CM utility vent sets to pressurize elevator shafts in these buildings.
Wow, it's great to see how our commercial and residential products work
Mhm.
together. Good job, S&P USA.
Yeah, it is, and it's something that makes S&P USA unique. Is we're a one-stop shop for all of these products, and we specialize in
Yes.
commercial and residential
Yes,
applications.
that's true. It's something that I feel like makes us stand out, right, Josh? It just makes us
Yep.
like a cut above the rest.
Yeah, definitely.
Now let's reveal this moment we've all been waiting for. We've got all this exciting news. We have two new product applications. Why don't you tell our listeners what they are?
All right. So the two new application guides are hotels and resorts, and then the second one is assisted living facilities.
Whoop, whoop. All
Um,
right.
both of these applications we've done many projects on for years, but we've seen an increase in demand. So we are really excited to lay these out for our customers.
Well, for sure. In these times that we're living in, I agree. These applications, there are stuff that we hear a lot about with our customers and we've been working on.
Mhm.
So I've gotten a sneak peek at these new application guides, and I noticed that they are incorporated with some of the newer products. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
Yes, for sure. So when we were creating these new application guides, being able to showcase some of our newer products was definitely one area we were really looking forward to. One in particular that is very useful on both of these applications is S&P USA's new Tempest and Tornado
Oh, yeah.
high volume, low speed fans.
Yeah, those fans have been highly requested here for ever since they were just released. And just again, when we're digging a little bit deeper, how can they be used in these applications specifically?
So in both hotels and assisted living, the THVLS fans that's what we're calling them because it's our
Uh-huh.
Tempest and Tornado.
Oh yeah.
They're very useful in gyms and fitness centers. Like they keep the air circulating so the rooms don't become humid and stuffy, and they also create a cooling effect for any people exercising.
Yeah, that should be something that definitely attracts everyone to stay true to their New Year's resolutions, right? You're going to
Yeah.
have good air, so go exercise.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think these are definitely going to be very helpful to our customers. Now, let's walk through how S&P USA can help ventilate hotels and resorts.
All right, that sounds good. Since guests are sleeping and spending a lot of time inside hotels and resorts, it's very important that they have healthy and safe air. A few ways that we do this is by exhausting air from rooms that may contain contaminants, like
Mm,
that don't include the actual rooms that the guests are staying in. Like for
yeah.
example, we use our square inline products like SQB, to exhaust air from swimming pool rooms. And we use
Okay.
our PV dead PEV that we mentioned earlier to
Uh-huh.
exhaust air from laundry rooms. And we use a combination of jet fans to induce airflow and sidewall fans to exhaust air in parking garages.
Wow, there are so many rooms to think of. I
Mhm.
can see why these guides are so necessary and helpful. Are there any other products we can recommend for hotels and resorts?
Definitely. There's many. Just a couple that
Yeah.
to keep in mind for now are like our classic up blast and down blast that we've been selling for years on hotels and resorts, and also like premium choice bathroom fans or FF ventilators for the guest rooms and or the bathrooms.
Yeah, we can't forget about those.
Mhm.
Now, let's dive into the second new application, assisted living. Why
Mhm.
is ventilation so important in these applications?
Well, the assisted living facilities are home to some of our most treasured family and friends. So it's important to keep the air clean, especially given the last couple of years and the importance of keeping air clean in those spaces.
For sure.
Similar to our mixed use buildings, assisted living facilities present a unique application that mixes some aspects of residential and commercial.
Yeah, I can see how those applications would share some similarities. What are some products that we sanction for assisted living facilities in specific?
Some of the most important facilities in these are, of course, the residence rooms and restrooms.
Oh,
So we'll
yeah.
start there. We recommend like our Premium Choice or PC series exhaust fans or FF ventilators to exhaust stale air from both bathrooms and restrooms. And for large shared restroom applications, we might
Mhm.
recommend SDB or SDBD or any of our S series centrifugal roof exhaust fans.
What about some of the other rooms in the
Mhm.
facilities? Something like the laundry room?
Yes, that's a great question. In laundry rooms, we suggest using the PV dead PEV or ESQD duct fans to remove humid air.
Wow, so many great ways that our products can be used, and this is just the beginning. We're like at the
Mhm.
very top of the iceberg, right? It's
Mhm.
we're just touching upon just a small part, but this is just all great. And I just want to say, Josh, I appreciate you, joining us today, and I'm glad we were able to clear the air for all these cool cats and kittens and talk about all these commercial applications. Thanks for joining me.
Oh yeah, no problem, of course. And yeah, this is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of
For sure.
applications that we could create brochures for. But we see them as some of our most important ones because we do a really good job of filling the needs of these of specific applications. So anyway, I'm definitely looking forward to working on some of these commercial slash residential projects with some of our listeners soon.
Oh, for sure. You've done a fantastic job thus far. To our listeners, if you want to know more information about product application guides, please visit solerpalau-usa.com to view our guides and download them to reference later. I'm your host, Tanya Meyer, S&P USA's Training and Development Architect, and we appreciate you listening in. Again, we have many platforms for all to learn more about S&P USA at solerpalau-usa.com, and of course on our Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter pages. I strongly encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel to be notified when we release the next episode of Clear the Air. Tune in next time